Now that I've let this dry, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding my next layers. Okay, so and remember, painting takes patience, all right? And it takes layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start with my base right in here. So the actual tabletop, and you'll notice that I'm coming over and painting over the cast shadow as I do this. That's important because what it's doing is you'll notice that the table gets darker and changes value as well as intensity when I paint over that area that I put down some orange, right? So now that cast shadow looks like it's part of the table instead of something that's actually like an object sitting on the table, like the sphere. The cast shadow looks like it's an actual shadow on the table. That doesn't mean I'm done with it, right? I'm gonna be able to go a little bit darker, okay? But you get the idea. You'll notice that I'm using a lot less water than I did with the other one, okay? Kind of bringing that in here and smoothing it out. Okay, that's gonna dry up nicely, and I'm gonna leave it alone. So that's another layer that I just put on there. I'm not done with it, not even close, but you see where it's going, right? Now from here, I could add in a little bit of orange back into the shadow. All right, and notice I'm definitely painting drier now. So, and you'll notice that the color that's on the sphere, or the paint that's already on the sphere, is not moving, right? I'm literally painting on top of it. So it's creating these layers and these transparencies. Sorry about the shake. All right, and I want that because I want this orange to be drying a little bit quicker, because I'm actually gonna start going into it with some blue to start really creating more volume and form on the sphere. And I'm going to achieve that with adding now some more blue right on top of it. All right, so I'm gonna come in here. Notice that I'm going just above where the shadow is. So that way I get my color of the sphere. And as I start to come into the shadow, you'll notice that it starts to become more of a darker blue. Notice I'm painting with the contour of the sphere, right? That means that I'm paying attention to the roundness. Look how much fuller it starts to look. Now, it's not perfect, and that's fine. Right now I'm playing, I'm learning. That's the point, is learning, right? Learning how to mix my colors, learning to see what the acrylic paint will do, how the acrylic paint mixes, right? You can see it's building up fairly nicely. All right, I'm gonna clean off my brush, and I'm going to add the highlight now. So, cleaning off my brush, grab some white, all right, and I'm gonna come in here. So, and I'm doing this right in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down a little bit. Now, I put a little bit too much white in there. So instead of continuing with the white, I'm gonna add some blue, and I'm gonna bring it around in here, okay? Because the highlight, if you notice our imagery source, it's not that huge, okay? So I have to fade it in. So I dry it off my brush, gonna grab some more blue, another layer, and now notice I start to bring this in, and that's gonna mix in with my white. Gonna clean off my brush a little bit, so it's a little bit drier, not as much blue on there, and you'll notice it starts to kind of blend in with my white, creating more of a highlight. And I'm gonna go, again, trying to come in with the contour of the sphere, and I'm gonna pull it down. And you can see how it starts to get a little bit fuller, right? Now, I don't like my separations that I'm getting in here in terms of going from a highlight to the blue too quickly, right? That's something that takes time to fix. So that means I'm gonna need more layers. So again, this is just the beginning. I'm gonna clean off my brush, and I'm gonna add a little bit more, some blue in here, and pull that up. Okay. Right, you see that? And it starts to build up. Careful, see how I just kind of lifted up some of the paint? So I wanna be careful about that. I'm gonna go ahead and come around here. A lot can be done with this large flat. Come down in here, I'm gonna kind of scoop it up. You know what, that's pretty decent for now. It's not done, but you get the idea, right? So now from here, I'm gonna address the cast shadow again. Okay, so, sorry, my brush keeps hitting the camera, as you can tell. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna put in my cast shadow. So it comes in a little bit darker and fade it out, just like the picture, right? That's what I'm trying to recreate, is the volume of the sphere. Maybe not necessarily as smooth, right? Because this is painted, the other one is kind of digital. Well, not kind of, it is in fact digital. So I'm trying to pay attention to how the colors mix and how they fade into each other. Now, I'm gonna add some depth in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a touch of blue behind the sphere. Oop, that was maybe a little bit too much. That's okay though, because again, I'm gonna be able to fix it. Add a little bit of water here. I'm gonna come around to the other side. Remember, acrylic painting in general isn't about just working on one area at a time. You're working on the painting as a whole. You kind of have to get used to doing that, especially if you want to make a nice cohesive painting. Cool, let's add some orange now. So I really loaded up my brush with the orange, so that way I could come into here and it'll mix in with my blue, which is what I want to happen. I don't want it to look blue. I want it to look like a darker, more muted orange. And I'm achieving that because it mixes with the blue. All right, I could come in here and see, notice I'm kind of cleaning up the edge of the sphere. All right, refining the edge of the sphere, excuse me, by cleaning the background, or by addressing the background. That's the better way to put it. Same, so the sphere edge comes out more because of the background. We went a little bit thick there, but that's fine. And it looks like class is gonna start. So you get the idea as to what I'm doing here, right? And how this is going. I like that texture. So I'm gonna leave that clean that up. Pretty cool, huh? So that's kind of like where I want to get to. I'm gonna probably add another layer of the blue on here, okay?